Welcome, stranger. I recently did a video on how to calibrate the exposure meter on your mechanical film camera, but I wasn't thinking ahead in the fact that all these cameras have exposure adjustments located in different parts of the camera, and some of them adjust in different ways. So I'm making this mini-series on how to adjust the exposure meter on different models. This particular video is on the Olympus OM-1, which has a rather unusual adjustment situation. It's mechanical, it's not electronic, which most of the others are electronic. And it's very unusual, let's put it that way. But I'll show you how to do it, and let's get started. All right, we are recording. This is the Olympus OM-1. I can even prove it. There it says OM-1. Get that kind of out of the way there. If you watched my video on calibration, you know that to calibrate the camera, you need a lens on it, f/16. On the Olympus, it needs to be set for 125, and ASA at 100. And if you've set your EV panel for 15 and you turn it on and look through it, if everything's fine, the needle should be dead center of the bracket. The bracket is like an L-shaped up the top, bottom. Needle should be dead center. But sometimes it's not, especially if on your camera you've switched from a 1.35 to a 1.55. And if that's the case, then you're in trouble. You'll look through it and the needle will be near the top bracket or near the bottom bracket, but not in the center. So, what do we do now? Well, you see this is set at 100 ASA. Well, it's supposed to be there. And I remove the advance, and I remove the rewind, and I remove the little collar here for the flash shoe. And so we pull straight up, and the thing is about this camera, it makes it more difficult. The ASA knob comes off the top cover, so you have no way of setting the ASA while you're calibrating the camera. Inside the camera, there's a piece of plastic here, and the square notch is cut out of it, and that square notch goes over this little bracket here. The bracket comes off here and goes down the side, and that's the ASA. And the OM-1's are very strange in the sense that this galvanometer here has a needle in it that's sticking in underneath the prism, and everything is that controls it is here. The ASA lever here, this piece of metal, if it moves left or right, changes your ASA. Now, when I took off the top cover, I accidentally moved it. We say, how do I know? See that mark there? I made it a magic marker or a permanent marker, and then I put a permanent mark right here on top of that stud. Before the movie began, the video began, I put a mark on there to show you, and at 100 ASA, they were lined up just like that. And but you have to take off the top cover really careful, or this will move. See how easy that moves? And that's part of the problem in setting the meter for this camera, is getting this in position, because the knob is gone, so there's no way. Unless you want to put the top cover back on, which is kind of a pain. The two adjustment points, I'm going to have to get another block here and get in closer. On this meter, How to explain it? Let's see here. I'm going to press in here. You see how everything's moving around like that? That's because that's your ASA control and your exposure control. As it's pressing against this lever here, it's moving your needle inside like this, up and down. So the ASA is moving the needle, and this plate. This thing is just weird. Just gonna deal with it. This is a rivet, and the rivet holds this plate down here, and it's locked with this screw here, and this brass cam here moves this whole thing left and right or in and out, and moves your needle. And if that doesn't make sense, there's no way I can explain it. And there we go. Okay, there it's backed off. Okay, now this rivet here that holds this in place can move. And if I put the screwdriver in here and turn that, you'll see. Did I get it in there? Sorry, folks. I'm having trouble seeing here. Yeah. Look up at the top of the blue wire. You see that whole thing moving as it goes in and out? That's moving the needle inside the viewfinder. So that's your adjustment, that little brass cam. So you have to, and it's just hit or miss. You have to move it a certain direction, say a quarter of a turn. You can see right now it's pointed at about 11 o'clock, and it was closer to 10 o'clock. Okay, and so you change it, and then you come back over here. You just tighten this just slightly, just so it can't shift or move. Then you push this ASA, you line it back up, the two marks. Okay. And now you've got your 125, F16, ASA 100, your new setting because you move this brass cam, and now you're still not through. The meter on this particular camera, there is one camera that has a switch here that you can just turn it on or off. I think it's the N model, but on this one you got to push in to turn the meter on. And you got to look through it, and the needle will jump to wherever it's going to go. In other words, if it was high and you've made your change and it's higher, you've gone the wrong direction. At least you know you got to go the opposite direction. Or maybe you were lucky and now it's dead center. I know that's kind of hard. It's even hard for me when I'm adjusting these things. It's so much easier on a Minolta, like it has a pot at the bottom. All I have to do is put a screwdriver in the pot. It's got a screw head, and turn it left or right and center my needle on the target, and I'm done. But not so with the Olympus. Olympus makes it really hard. You've now got to move this this direction here to get out of the way so you can unlock this and free this plate, and then you've got to put your screw in here, and let's say we looked at the viewfinder and we've only made it worse. Now the target is even higher. Well, we went counterclockwise to 11. So now we've got to go clockwise to, say, 9 o'clock. Well, it's not quite 9 o'clock, is it? There, 9 o'clock. From my point of view. So now we've changed this cam here, this brass cam, and we have moved this plate. And now, just so to test it, we don't want it to move accidentally. So now we've got to tighten it just a little bit. Not a whole lot, not permanent for a setting, just for the test. Then we got to move this back to match up our marks so we know at 100 ASA. And again, 125, f16, pointed at the EV15 panel. Get your finger on this particular camera, press the button in, look to the viewfinder. With a little bit of luck, I said that the needle had gone the wrong direction. It was higher. Since we've gone the opposite direction, now it should come back down. If we're lucky, it's dead center. If we're not lucky, it's gone past center and now it's too far down, in which case we gotta set that stud here. We set it for around 9 o'clock, maybe move it up to 10 o'clock and try that. It's back and forth till you get your needle centered. And kind of a clunky way to set the exposure on a camera when other cameras they're electronic and you just adjust a pot and set it and it's done. But this is the way that it's done on the Olympus. And there's nothing much that can be done about it. Now, the bad news. The bad news. When you turn the screw around 360, it just starts off where it ended. In other words, the plate will go out, and then when you return to the same point, it'll go back in. It's circular in the sense that, let's see if we can even get this I'm going to get this kind of out of the way. Okay, now watch as I go around. It will go back. To the original position. There we go. See how it pivots? I don't know if I showed that very well. But the screw will only go so far, and then it just goes back to the original position. And so this only can move in and out so far. So why am I showing you that? Because if you have a 1.55 volt, 1.55, it's getting late here, folks, volt battery in it, and this adjustment may not be enough to adjust your needle. When you look through the viewfinder, the needle may come down, 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 almost center, and then just when you think you about got it, it starts going up and up and up and up and up and up, because this will only go so far before it returns to the original position. It does not lock, it's just circular, it goes around and around. So what do you do then? Your only option is to go to Amazon and buy a 1.35 volt battery and then come back and adjust it. It'll work with a 1.35 volt battery, normally. I haven't seen any yet that will not. And not use the 1.55 volt. There are some of these Minolta OM-1s you can adjust in with the 1.55, and there's some that you can't. Well, you say, well, why is that? Because the string and pulley system up in the front, if you've seen any of my repair videos, is different with different models. Even the same model. Maybe they made them at two different points, or maybe they changed it a little bit because they thought it was a better design. But what I'm saying here is that there are some models where this adjustment here will not center your needle with a 1.55 volt battery. And so you are forced to use a 1.35. Now, some people put diodes in these cameras, but I don't like doing that. I like to keep my cameras factory. I don't like modifying them. And they sell on Amazon battery holders that have built-in diodes, and that will step down the voltage of a 1.55 volt battery. And those are preferable to actually soldering in a diode into the circuit, as far as I'm concerned. So either buy the adapter or revert back to a 1.35 volt battery. And that's pretty much it. I don't have much else to add. I know this is kind of, I'm looking for a word here, and jicky way to adjust the meter. I don't much like it, but I would prefer it be electronic, like a Minolta or Canon or an Nikon, but it's not. This is what we were given. It's what we got to work with. And you've got to adjust it to get your needle center, using it like I showed you here. Take off the top cover. If you're not sure, if you take off the top cover and you're not sure about the alignment, then put the top cover back on. If you've worked on cameras before, this particular camera, you know how to get the top cover on. You turn this around until you hear a click. And what happened is that clip is pressing up and it's riding on top of this plastic. And when it finds this indentation, it'll click as it snaps into position. Not a very good system, but it's a system that we were given to work with. And you can set it for ASA 100, take it off carefully again, and see if your marks here are accurate. Because you've got to set up these marks on top of each other to make sure, as you're adjusting your camera, turning this little brass cam here, like right now it's not even close. Move it over. Gloves are getting kind of ratty. I need to make some new ones. Okay, like that. That's 100 ASA. It'll also help when you put the top cover back on. You'll be really close in the setting. And as you can see, like I said, at 100 ASA, it partly covers this lock screw here. And it partly covers your adjustment. And as I said, this right here's a little rivet that you cannot adjust or move, and it pivots the whole thing. I don't know who designed this or what they were thinking, what they were smoking when they designed it, but this is really strange. Okay, that's it. I hope you enjoyed that little tour on how to adjust the meter on an OM-1, and hope that helps you out. If maybe it'll at least get you started and give you some ideas. But I guess that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for dropping by. Later.